Good morning. Good to see you all here. Thanks for being here this morning. I'm going to talk about the future of e-commerce, the decade of intelligent commerce. Let's face it, this morning when each of you woke up, I don't think you were thinking of intelligent commerce. All that you were wanting was your cup of coffee. And you probably tapped on your phone to get one. And when you did that, a tap, a swipe, a purchase goes beyond just a purchase. You're giving data, the data is getting converted somewhere, and today your shopping cart probably knows more about you than your best friend. Welcome to this decade where commerce and e-commerce knows more about you than what you probably know about yourself. I'll just cover a few things. I'll start off with what gives me the credentials to talk about this topic. I work for Myntra, and I'll give you a little bit of a flavor of what Myntra does. I'm sure each one of you knows about Myntra, and I also distinctly hope that each one of you is a customer for Myntra. And if not, I hope by the end of this I would have converted you to being a customer. Talk a little bit about the India opportunity, which again, all of you know, but I'm just putting some numbers behind it to give you the size and scale of what we are all lucky to be. Some emerging trends, how e-commerce is growing, what are the trends that are driving it, and I'll just quickly summarize at the end. We get 75 million monthly active users. That's our customer base. 7.5 crore monthly active users come onto Myntra. We have a selection of over 15,000 brands, 4 million styles, and we reach 19,000 pin codes in this country. In other words, we cover 98% of the country through eCart, which is our own logistics partner in the group. As you know, Myntra is a part of Flipkart, and Flipkart is a part of Walmart. That's our credentials. If I look at our customer, unlike most of the marketplaces, we are probably the one marketplace which has got a fairly equitable split in terms of gender. We are actually a women-first marketplace. Our customer split is 50-50. If you look at our sales, it would be skewed more towards women than men. 18 to 34 is our target customer. 80% of our customers are in that are in that age bracket. Our geographical mix, 50-50, 50% from the top 9 cities, the top metros and the top tier 1 cities, and the balance come from non-metros. We are a destination for the affluent customer. We are a destination for Gen Z, and we have our own Myntra loyalty program, the 10 million customers who bless us with their business regularly, half of whom would visit us every single day. That's the frequency with which they would come on. So, having talked about Myntra and given you that credentials, let me switch over to India. And some of these facts you all know. I'm just re-emphasizing. We are the 5th largest economy in the world, the 3rd largest retail market globally, and the 2nd largest e-commerce user base globally, e-commerce shopper base globally, 2nd after China. In terms of India's lifestyle market, currently at 130 billion, I mean when I say currently 2024, 130 billion, expected to grow up to 250 billion in the next 5 years. And if I split this further down, apparel is about 75 to 80 billion. Footwear is 15 to 20 billion. Accessories is 10 to 15 billion. And then beauty and personal care is the rest 20 to 25 billion. So that's the split of the market. Now, that's the market as a whole. India is still a majority unorganized market. So of the 130 billion, as you can see there, majority is in the unorganized segment. Organized is still a smaller segment. However, expected to grow at 15 to 20% CAGR compared to a 3 to 5% on the unorganized sector. So by 2028, when it grows to a 210 billion, it will roughly be 50-50. So just imagine the opportunity for pretty much everyone in this room who would be from the organized sector and the opportunity for growth. The market itself is growing, and within that, the organized sector going at a CAGR of 15 to 20%. That's what's driving the revolution of retail in this country. The headroom for online penetration for India specifically is still massive. So that's the second factor third factor. Growth of the market, growth of organized, and the growth of e-commerce within that. And this just shows a comparison here. As you can see, India is at apparel and accessories as a total is at 13% e-commerce compared to Korea, which is at 45 to 50%, the United States, which is at 35 to 40%, Germany at 35 to 40. So pretty much everybody is at least double. And these are developed markets. India is an emerging market. And in the next 5 years, you would expect India to inch up much more towards the developed market. And that's why these penetration levels are extremely achievable. Even if we get to half of it, it's still doubling of where we are. So just imagine the opportunity for e-commerce. And combine that with the fact that the infrastructure in this country is still challenged and will continue to be challenged. And hence, e-commerce becomes a great opportunity for people to shop. And that's what will drive growth. If you then look at how will e-lifestyle grow? And I talk of e-lifestyle because obviously that's what Myntra does and that's the market we are in. We expect e-lifestyle to grow 3x in the next 5 years, and primarily led by apparel. And I'll just leave you with that thought. 3x growth in the next 5 years is what's expected. And one factor which is driving that the most is trend. Trend-first market. Today's customer is looking for trends, and that's where e-commerce is taking the lead. And some of the things that players in this market could do to benefit targeting customers, having an assortment which is fast and fresh, having tech enablement, and I'll talk about tech in a minute, and of course having sourcing partners who can help you launch frequently, launch lower MOQs, so that you're constantly being able to deliver the trend as it evolves. So with that background about India, what are the emerging trends? What's driving? I think the evolving e-lifestyle landscape is being led by cities beyond the top 50. I think that's very obvious. Everybody knows that. But that's actually happening. 2 in 3 shoppers are today from the cities beyond the top 50. 1 in 2 shoppers are affluent. And 1 in 3 shoppers are Gen Z. 3 factors. So what are we at Myntra doing about it? We've created distinct stores to cater to each of them. We've got the Lux store, which caters to the affluent, and that's clearly focused on the bridge to luxury and luxury brands, and a separate quarantine store focused on the Lux customer. For the Gen Z customer, we have Forward by Myntra, which is focused on Gen Z, which is trend first, which is refresh fast, which is value conscious. That's what we do for the Forward customer. The next trend, social media, and I think again all of us know this, but just some fact: 30% share of social media and digital marketing was from digital in 2024. Incremental traffic through social media for the top 30 D2C brands, 20%. 1 in 5 digital marketing dollars is now spent on influencers. And the engagement rate is twice through nano, micro influencers. So that trend on social media is definitely driving quite rapidly. At Myntra, we are using that, and we launched Glam Clan And GlamClan was launched in December last year. It was launched earlier this year, sometime in March, April. And in a short span, today, we have over 1 million creators on GlamClan. And it's a very simple philosophy. We give our customers the opportunity to become influencers. Anybody who's bought on the platform can post a video on their own, and if it leads to a purchase, they earn a share of that as well. And that flywheel, in a span of less than 6 months, we've got over 1 million creators. I mean, to be honest, when we launched it, we were concerned about the quality of videos and what we would get. But we are pleasantly surprised. And this is something which it's completely blown our mind in terms of how this has taken off. Minis on Myntra is something that we have been doing for the last few years, and that continues to grow. And obviously, this is snackable video content. We are the Instagram of social commerce, and that's really what we are doing here. We've got beyond what we do on the platform, we also have off-app partnerships, influencer campaign, celebrity, building brands, building the marketplace. Technology is the third trend. So you've got social media, you've got the whole drive from beyond the top 50, and the third is technology. This is again very, very obvious, but the pace of change and what AI and ML are doing is known to all, but the pace of that change is absolutely mind-boggling. Personalization and hyper-personalization has made a huge difference to conversion on the Myntra app. We've done AI-based shop the look, AI-based shop the trend, suggest the look, suggest the trend, number of innovations on the platform which helps the customer to narrow down onto what they want. And using data science to get size recommendation, to look at the history of what the customer has bought, and also look at the profiles of who's buying and being able to recommend. Again, making a difference, especially in reducing returns. And these are just a few examples of what we have been doing. But there's so much more that is happening across the world on these spaces. Because today we have technology that not just gets the data gets adapted, the data learns on itself and improves on itself. And I think that's what's driving the future of all marketplaces, driving the future of e-commerce as a whole. Some of the things that we do, and I talk about it, the tech-led user-facing experience, platform design, and also using technology as a foundation to be able to target and reach customers better. This is just how today Myntra evolves. I talked about the core Myntra platform, I talked about Forward, I talked about Lux. The fourth area, which is also driving change, and this is not necessarily this is not necessarily just e-commerce driven, this is actually hard logistics, speed. And you all know what speed has, the pace at which the quick commerce industry has grown. And we at Myntra are using our advantage of being the largest aggregator and marketplace of apparel and lifestyle brands to offer customers the opportunity to buy fashion, to opportunity to buy beauty, opportunity to buy home, opportunity to buy footwear within 30 to 120 minutes. That's something which is again creating a huge difference. We started with Bangalore as a trial in December. Today it's available in 10 cities, with 4 large cities playing a major role: Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. MNow, as we call it, is making a distinct difference in how the customer is shopping. That's another evolving trend that we are seeing. So in summary, trend is driving e-commerce, fashion is being driven by trend, and e-commerce is in a unique place to be able to capture this segment of the market. Key micro segments, the growth of shoppers beyond the top 50, again driving the entire shopping behavior. And finally, tech-led shopping experience across social media, across digital, across the storefront, across recommendations, and a number of other areas It's what's driving the future. AI and ML playing a big role as that goes forward. That, ladies and gentlemen, was my 2 bits on what the future looks like. Thanks for listening.
We can take one question if anyone has. Up in the front here.
Hi, my name is Ninad. I work with GeoMart. One question, you mentioned about the use of technology for like trend forecasting and other things. So for a category like fashion, a lot of it, like after that trend, it's also about like making sure like the assortment and the entire supply chain. So how does technology tie with some of these other functions to make sure this operates in a very seamless manner?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, because it's very important that both move in sync and hand in hand. And that's why having teams that work together, the storefront team, along with the growth team, along with the buying and sourcing team, so that it's completely synced and literally in a predetermined frequency. It could be daily, it could be weekly, depending on how you want to cater to it. But it's very important to look at what the trends are coming and being able to adapt and marry with what is possible to offer that to the customer.
We'll just keep it to one question. You can take it offline, please. Yeah. So let's give a big round of applause to Venu Nair, Chief of Strategic Partnerships and Omnichannel, Myntra Fashion, requesting Prishu Kagra and Bani Chauhan, our producers of the India E-Commerce Forum 2025, to kindly felicitate Venu Nair. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Venu is going to be around, so you can pose questions to him. He will be around. Thank you.